Hello and welcome back to the Blu-Ray Condition, podcast that has been away for a period of time, but much like physical media, we will not die. We are here forever. And
Not yet.
I'm your host Graham, and with me as always is Luke Ryan. Say hi, Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Okay.
It's good. It's good to be doing this again. We both had an interesting year.
Yes.
You a little bit more than me, but I've moved, and yeah, we're back doing this. I was looking forward to it. It just took a while for us to kind of get our two heads together and actually sit down to record this.
Yeah, I mean, there has been so many dates that we've just missed for one reason or another.
Yes.
We're definitely going to do it then, and then something comes up. But
Usually me.
I had my fair share as well.
Oh yeah,
We'll
sure.
take blame on that. But hopefully we're going to be back to the monthly format. We were out once a month talking about the recent releases, what we've picked up, and just general Blu-ray chit chat. So, topic that we had kind of set up for this one way back in May was
Right, yeah.
when sales go wrong. So how do you go about balancing a budget, controlling your spending, and how to deal with the sales? Because I noticed when I was looking back at that time, there was a lot of great sales going on, and you are tempted just to like buy. But and very recently we've had the 2 for 20 criterion. I know that both of us have looked at that and wanted more, but you have to look at finances. So where do you draw the line?
Yeah, I think around that time was when was it the site Chili had this crazy offer, and it was really strange because you go on the website and it just doesn't look like a movie store website. I almost felt like, is this dodgy? Is this like some sort of weird like? Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, like you couldn't even find stuff that you wanted, and it was very sketchy. But I ended up putting it. I forget what the offer was now. Was it some kind of 50% off deal or something like that? It was just
crazy prices all over the place. I think it was about 50% off, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up getting a bunch of like, studio stuff that would cost around £5-6 anyway, mixed in with some more expensive like boutique label stuff. Yeah. And then I kind of like rationalized it in my head, like, well, if it's like 10 titles, £50, then each title is, whatever. And so I did end up getting quite a big kind of box from that sale. And it all came through fine, and it was great. But there's only so many times you can do that, for me anyway. And it was kind of like a moment of madness kind of thing. It's like, wow, you can get all these things for this kind of price. And with the 2 for 20 criterion, like I said to you the other day, with unlimited finances, I would buy every criterion. I would love to have all of them just as a collector, as a lover of films. But, realistically, it's not going to happen. And a lot of those films I don't have the most immediate interest in either. So,
but let's put it this way.
It's tricky.
You had all the finances in the world and you could buy everything. Do you think that would be deeply unfulfilling? To instantly have this wealth of movies and a lack of time to watch it or go through it?
Well, I would assume if you had that kind of wealth, you'd have that kind of time as well.
You probably just spent all your wealth in Criterion movies. Now,
sure.
Now the money's going.
Or maybe the scenario would be that you can buy however many Blu-rays you want, but you still have to work your 40 hours a week. That'd be quite different, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like I have so many films right now in my collection that I haven't seen, and having that choice and then that kind of breadth of movies to choose from is great, but I still find myself just sitting here twiddling my thumbs going, what do I watch? I have no clue. So having even more of a collection would probably exacerbate that issue. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially...
But still, as a collector, I think we'd like to have those kinds of, complete sets and
absolutely.
So on.
I think there's certain things, you're just never going to have. But in the Criterion recent one, I found myself buying a lot of the Zoom deals. They do the $9.99.
Yeah, a lot of those I already had, but they're really good prices.
I don't have a lot of them, so I've been picking them up sporadically, and that's it. You're like, it's only $9.99, but you've been spending that $9.99 every week for the past 4 or 5 weeks. It starts to mount up. We're not wealthy, maybe in spirit, but not in finances.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, things like that, you have to draw a line somewhere, and especially that Chili sale was terrible because I kept going back.
You did, I remember that, yeah.
I just kept going back and ordering, and one of the worst thing was the site Blu-ray forum, or I like to call them the enablers, kept posting deals. Like, oh, this movie's only £3. It's only £3, but those £3 start to add up, and before long you're looking at the bank statement and going, what the hell have I done? Because I think I spent about 150 quid in that sale, and that was about 150 quid that I couldn't really afford to spend on movies at that time, because I think Arrow had a sale at the same time, and I do have a small thing for Arrow movies, and there was lots at £5. An Arrow title at £5, I'm buying it regardless. I don't care what it is, at £5. If I don't have it, I'm picking it up. So I had bought a bunch of them, and now I'm starting to look at things, and especially the collections mounting up to such a terrible state that it's going, where's the line? Where do I stop buying things? I have so many movies to watch, much like yourself. You go, am I just buying these things to have these things, or am I actually going to get use out of them?
Yeah, it's tricky. One I can say recently, and it was again the Blu-ray forum. It was like about midnight, something like that, nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, and the little banner at the top of the website that says like, new deals, and there were all these crazy prices, and the two were the Jean-Luc Godard box set, and the other one was Pierre Melville or something like that. These two French directors, these fairly pricey box sets. One of them was £3.50. The other one was £5, and it was clearly a mistake. Everyone was getting their orders in, and it was one of those situations where I'm like, I love films, I love cinema, I love world cinema, and I would love to watch these films. I'm definitely not going to watch them anytime soon, probably not for years, but when the price is that low, you kind of have to bite the bullet, and I did end up picking them up, and they're on the shelf. I'm glad I have them, but I don't see me even unwrapping the cellophane for a few years. So, but that to me is worth it if it's that low of a price. But then, like you said, it's the repetition, like, oh, well, it's only this much. But then if it keeps going on and on and on, then you need to kind of, assess things. So with the 2 for $20 recently in HMV, I got two that I really wanted. And there was a few more. And I thought, there's probably like 4 other ones that I could go for. But I thought, I'm not going to watch them anytime soon. They're not limited. They're going to be there for many years to come. I'm going to leave it for now, So I'm getting quite good at it, I think. I'm quite impressed with myself, especially now that I live quite close to a HMV, which is, always dangerous.
I suppose we should move into that as well. HMV have been saved since the last time we kind of spoke about it. We weren't sure.
Oh yeah, I can't remember if we even covered that. Yeah, so it's it hasn't changed so much because they never really went completely out of business. But the looming threat that they might disappear was certainly there.
So we still have a high street store that specialises in physical media, which is great. And the stores are much the same, but they've changed little tweaks. You get like a 2 for $13 deal now. You don't get the 5 for $30 anymore. They seem to have bins at the front of the store clearing out deals.
Yeah, those have been there for a while. I thought they'd be like around for a couple of weeks, but they've been there for months now. So
but then you see deals as well, like appearing in Poundland. So I wonder if they're getting similar deals just to clear things through.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is there. Did we cover the whole Poundland moving to £2 titles? I can't remember.
The scandal.
I think we probably did. The scandal. So yeah, I have actually seen a few things in the HMV clearance bins that are in Poundland. So I thought, well, I can get that in Poundland a little bit cheaper if I really wanted it. So.
That was the thing as well. Like in Poundland, you go in there and movies are £1. You're walking out with a bundle, but the change in price to £2 really stopped me from picking things up.
It does, right? Yeah, there's actually been a few times I've gone to Poundland and I picked up like 3, 4, 5 tiles and I've gone, I don't realize this is £10 now. I don't really need that. Do I even want it? So I'll maybe pick up 1 or 2 things every now and again, but I'm again holding back from that now. I remember there's like a period last year where I think I bought about 30 titles in one go when it was £1 each.
Yep, I remember that video. So it's really good to have some competition for Amazon. So their prices were really starting to peak, but now HMV are back in. I think the site's just about ready to go fully live. They've been doing pre-orders for a while. And then
Oh yeah, I
they
saw
put on
that.
some of their special offers as well, but I think it's ready to go live any day now, which is great to have them back. I'll probably keep ordering from there rather than Amazon if I can. I've also moved on to certain other sites as well, like hive.co.uk.
I've not even heard of them.
They seem to do some good prices on pre-orders on certain things. That was one where I picked up the Marlene Dietrich set for £26, which was a great bargain.
It's an incredible deal, yeah.
I wanted it when it came out, but obviously couldn't afford it at the time. But thankfully, I managed to pick it up at that great price. So it's all these deals which are absolute killer to you. You know, that Dietrich set. I don't think I'm going to watch that anytime soon. I'm interested in it. I do want to get to it, but at that price, again, you can't really knock it.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance as a collector. It depends what kind of collector you are, obviously. But I think for me personally, and what was really helped me, I think, is now that I've moved to a house, I have a big room to myself. It's my office room. I have 4 units, which hold about 250, 300 Blu-rays each. And so I have almost all of my collection displayed now, which I've never done before. And I really get a wide sense of like how much I have. And it really gives me a bit of a reality check. Like, right, I have a lot here. Maybe I should be watching some of the ones before I start buying ones arbitrarily. Obviously, there are instances like sales or good prices on things or new releases that you're really excited about. But the kind of more blind buy kind of stuff that I would always go in for, I've really cut back on that kind of stuff now. So seeing everything in one room kind of gives me a bit of perspective.
And how do you cope at the moment with limited editions? Does that add the pressure on you?
A little bit, yeah. I was looking last night actually on the recent Masters of Cinema like limited version, like with the slipcovers and stuff, and there's quite a few of them that have come out in the past couple of months. I haven't gotten any of them. And my impulse is, well, I need to get it because it's the limited version with the slipcover. And I was like, does it really matter? And somewhere deep down, there's a small part of me from 5 years ago going, yes, it does. It definitely matters, you know. Because I think I have pretty much every Massive Cinema like limited version, at least up until the recent stuff. So I don't know. So I haven't pulled the trigger on any of those yet. Maybe I'll ask for some of them for Christmas and kind of, you know, kind of circumnavigate actually having to buy them myself. But there's not too many limited stuff that's coming out where I feel like, you know, I need to get that soon. So
it's mostly, I'd say, like there's a few Arrow releases that have come out limited edition that I really wanted. Like I picked up an American Werewolf in London recently, or I picked up the Old Boy set, which I'm glad I got because that seemed to just like disappear, sell out so quickly. But that was a problem with the Old Boy set. It was supposed to just be Old Boy itself, but because of licensing for the extras, they end up just including the other 2 of the Vengeance trilogy. And I had that locked in, I think it was in Zavi for £22. And it was selling for 30, so I was really happy with that. But like limited editions like that, I feel if you don't get it straight away, you're not getting it. Yeah,
especially Arrow. I think that's probably the one company in the UK at least where you really need to get in quick if you want. I mean, sometimes they stick around. It really is all dependent. Actually, there are 2 Arrow releases I recently bought just because I saw them in HMV and I thought those are probably not going to be around with a slipcover for very long. And it was the 2 John Hughes movies.
Yeah.
Weird Science and 16. Did you get those ones?
But I this is to show some of my self-restraint. I am a huge fan of Weird Science. I absolutely adore that movie. I've not had the finances to buy it at any point, or there's been something else I wanted, so I've forgone the slipcover.
Dude, I'm telling you, this slipcover is, I think, maybe my favorite slipcover I have in my collection. Like, it's just gorgeous. Like, that was kind of part of it. And I see, the thing with the movie is I saw it when I was a teenager. I don't think I've seen all of it, and I enjoyed it, but it's one I need to go back to. But the slipcover was just like there's like a texture to it. It's like slightly matte. The colors, it feels and looks like a cover I'd see in Blockbuster when I was a kid. So that shows you kind of the superficial nature that sometimes ties into these things. But you know, it is an Arrow release, and I'm pretty sure it's like a new transfer, right? Yeah, so it's for 4K scan from the original negative. And I love John Hughes, so that was one. And 16 Candles I've never seen before.
I don't think I've not seen it in a few years, actually, a long while. But for everybody out there, we're obviously on a video phone call. You were just showing me Weird Science, and that just shows you how the Blu-ray community are enablers. You know, even when you're talking about trying to hold back, they're still encouraging you. You heard them, everybody. He tried to get me to buy it right here in the spot. That's the...
I had to give you a visual aid because it's a stunning slipcover.
But I did this with both Heathers and 12 Monkeys. I wanted those movies. I didn't have the finances at the time, and I luckily got them when they popped in the sale. 2 for $15, and I picked up both of them with slipcovers.
That's good.
And again, if next time it happens in the Arrow, I'll be there. And if they have Weird Science and 16 Candles, I will definitely do it.
And those two were ones that I looked at and I didn't initially grab, and I kept seeing them. I thought every time I walk past them, I want them, so I'm just going to get them and pay the full 15 quid. You know,
I want to do a scenario with you, okay? I want you to tell me what you would do in this situation. So there's this set comes out and you quite fancy it, right? So you pick it up, of course. Let's say it's £45, 3 movies in a book, a complete set. So you pick it up, and of course, like every other movie, it just gets launched in the collection and left for 2 to 3 weeks. Then there is a sale that goes on. Say it's buy one get one free, and that box set is now in that sale. And you still have the receipt, it's still within the return time. What would you do?
Well, I would take it back. And I was, not that I've ever been in that situation before, but I mean, if you're presented with that kind of opportunity where it depends if you're doing it from the same shop. I don't think I'd be that bold to be like, okay, I'm just going to return this. Hey, I'm just going to buy this again. Like that, probably.
And what if you got to the shop and they didn't have any other copies of it?
Well, it would be pretty disappointed, wouldn't it? Because you'd feel like you wasted that money. But then it also depends on how much I wanted that set, because and this will actually tie into a story I've got for a bit later on, because sometimes I feel like it is worth the money if you really want something a lot, but that is a tricky scenario where and actually there have been a few times where I bought something and say the price drops a week later on Amazon. I was like, you know what I mean?
So I think I told you this tale a while back. I did this. I was in this very scenario. I picked up the Laras set from Arrow, and it popped into the buy one get one free. And I went up to the same store that I bought the set from with the receipt. They had no other copies of it on sale. The only other box sets that would go with it for the buy one get one free, I already owned. So I should just have turned and walked away. But I had this compulsion where, no, I picked up one of the sets I had already purchased. I walked up to the counter and said, "Can I return this?" and then just buy it straight back again.
God's sake.
And I was talking to the manager, and obviously I work in a shop as well, and the guy just looked at me and I said, "Yep, and you can say it if you want, I know exactly this is a dick move to do, but I'm just chancing my arm." And he just said, "Yeah, it is." He goes, "Okay, I'll do it."
God.
And I went straight home and showered.
I wouldn't be that bold myself. You went home. Dried yourself off with the notes, like.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the lowest points I've been at as a Blu-ray collector for a while. But yeah, let's get into this story you've been alluding to.
Yeah, just before that, I remember years ago, I don't know if people still do this in the kind of the Blue Tube community. There was this practice of going, mainly in America, I think, because in America with slipcovers, there's like a hole in them where the barcode is. So a common practice would be going into a shop and buying like a regular case of a film, but then putting a slipcover you want for another title over the top of it. And so you'd be buying the film because there's like a cutout where the barcode is, but you'd be getting the bonus slipcover. And people used to do that quite a bit. Or I don't think you can do it with UK releases, but anyway. So my story is a couple of weeks ago, I was in HMV. And usually when I go in there, I'm not really looking for anything specific. I'm kind of just browsing, 90% of the time. And I went to the like anime section, nothing really there. And I never look at the TV section because for me, like I watch TV, but it's usually on Netflix. I wouldn't buy it. Do you buy any TV sets?
Very, very rarely.
Yeah, it's not something I go in for. But I just had a quick glance. and I saw this title that said 63 Up.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of this film? Yeah. So I thought, holy shit, they just released one of my favorite films of the year on Blu-ray. Didn't even know it was coming out, so I picked it out, and it was $9.99. I thought, absolutely, straight away I'm buying this. No questions. And then I thought, well, I wonder if they have the DVD set of the previous 8 movies. And as I was walking away, I spotted on the same shelf, it said 7 to 63 Up Blu-ray. They've released the entire series of films. No one's talking about it. There's no post about it on Blu-ray.com. There's no news updates about it. Network have released it. And to me, it's like a dream Blu-ray release for me that I never knew was even coming. And it just came out like last month. And so I looked on the back and it was £25. So I then looked on Amazon to see what the prices were. And it was £18 on Amazon. I thought, oh, great, I'll just buy it on Amazon, save the £7. And then I never got around to ordering it. And about 4 days later, I checked and the price had gone back. I was, oh, damn. But then it was one of those things where I thought, you know what? I want to support HMV and the film. And it's more than worth it to me, this set, £25 for these films. So yeah, it's one of those like holy grail releases that I had no clue was even coming, and it was such a great, exciting moment to see. Wow, they've released it, and it's right here, and I can just buy it now. And I've been flicking through the discs, and it's just a phenomenal release. You familiar with the films?
Yes.
Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Yeah.
At various points in my life. I know it's basically following a group of people from every 7 years throughout their lifetimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it started in the 60s, 1964, a film called 7 Up, group of 7-year-old kids from various different classes, and it was kind of a bit of a social commentary, like, and they didn't initially plan to make this an ongoing thing. It was just this kind of like, it was like kind of like a weird kind of phrase, like, give me the child when he is 7 and I'll show you the man. These are the people who'll be running the country in the year 2000. And then after about 6 years, they thought, why don't we go back and see what those kids were doing? And it's like one of these weird things where there's no contract. They've not agreed to keep on doing this. They have to convince them every 7 years to some of them have decided to drop out. Some of them have come back. Some of them don't like doing it, but they begrudgingly, participate. And the most recent one came out this year, and it's phenomenal. I've been watching it again, it's just so great. The brilliance of it is in its just simplicity. It's just normal people. And with a few exceptions, that there really isn't that much change. You're just seeing someone grow up. And seeing someone from a kid until, seeing them as a 60-year-old, it's really a moving kind of experience to me. So, yeah, I'm so happy to have that set. That's like probably going to be my favorite release of this year. Spoilers, because just so happy to own all of them and kind of flick through them and relive some of them, because I've seen all of them. And
but that's a really good price for that set, considering you were going to buy just 63 Up for, what, $9.99?
Yeah, and it includes that disc, with the set. It's. I thought it would be a lot more, and I would actually, 35 to 40 quid, I would probably happily pay that, to be honest with you, because this is 9 films. Some of them are quite long. The early ones are quite short. And one thing I was concerned about was, like, have they actually transferred this in high definition? Because the first few films are shot on film, and scanning through, they do look really good. So you're getting a real quality product, I think. So.
Cool. It's something I maybe think about picking up at some point, because I remember seeing 1 or 2 of them and they were quite fascinating. Absolutely. I would 100% recommend it. Maybe stick it on the Christmas list or something. I think you can get it from Network directly for like £18. But I just kind of wanted it that day. I just thought I'm just going to pull the trigger, and because I wanted to kind of like skim through the discs and stuff, and there's some good special features on there. So. Okay. What we mentioned earlier on, just out of curiosity, how much of your collection roughly have you seen against what's unseen?
I think we talked about this in a previous episode, and I don't think that it's changed very much. The rough number for me was I'd seen 750 roughly, and I hadn't seen about 500 films roughly. I'd imagine it's maybe around that same area. I probably have maybe 850 films now that I've seen, or I don't know, just add another kind of 50 to 100 titles to that list. It's it's not the worst ratio in the world, but it's not the best.
No,
either.
I think you're doing better than me. I've not checked mine out, but I'd imagine that there's probably a good 60% of mine I haven't watched. And the stuff I'm picking up is probably things I wouldn't watch at this time of year. I find that when we're heading into November, into December, things get a little bit more stressful at work. You get a little bit more on your plate, and I look for kind of comfort movies more than anything. Things that I've seen before, or movies where I know they're going to be kind of trash. I like trash movies, so
right.
those are kind of comfort movies for me, first time watches or whatever. 80 minutes, 90 minutes, don't need to pay attention. The story is kind of nonsense. It's just people getting murdered or something silly. Those are the kind of things I'll go to. So, but most of the movies I've been picking up recently are either Masters of Cinema or Criterion movies that I may or may not get to. Even the Criterions, we said we bought 2 for 20 earlier on. I picked up The Blob and The Sword of Doom, which I quite fancied. And as soon as it came in, I think I said to you as well, I instantly threw on The Blob, watched it, went through all the special features, and instantly threw The Sword of Doom on the pile of things to be watched at some point. Which I knew was going to happen. Hey, what can you do with these things?
I think like buying a Criterion for like 10 quid is really great when you think about it, especially for someone like me who's been importing those Blu-rays for so many years. And now that we have, I mean, I can't believe how many have been released in the UK now, because they don't really, Criterion don't have like a UK channel of like communicating with people. It's just, I think Sony just quietly released them, and then that's it. Like, it's just, I think there's like a fan account on Twitter that kind of keeps track of some of the releases, but it's really strange how they don't. And I think I've mentioned that before, but in HMV, my local now, they have an entire boutique label section. Yes. So they have like the Criterion, the Arrow. So you can see they're really trying to cater to those people now, which is interesting. But I'm looking at the Criterion section, I'm like, oh, there's like at least 100 titles here. Like, they've really been releasing a lot. Which is good, but yeah, to get like the two for 20 was great.
That will lead nicely into say what we've picked up recently. We won't go into everything for the past 6 months, but I know that you picked up a really special Criterion set. You did I? From one director, 40 movies, I think it was, the Bergman.
Oh, cool. All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I almost don't think of that as a Criterion. It's like a whole other beast, the Ingmar Bergman's cinema set, which I'm looking at right now. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's one where I paid a hefty price for it. Was so happy to receive it. I've put it on the shelf and have not touched it. But I'm completely fine with that, because it's 40 plus movies. I think I paid $150 for it in the 50% off sale, Barnes & Noble. Interestingly enough, Barnes & Noble, they stopped international orders a couple of years ago. And then the last sale, people were saying, hey, I can still order things. And it was almost like we slipped under the radar and put in a few orders, and now they've kind of cut it off again. So like, I managed to get it in. It was sent in a box where it was rattling around, and it's luckily not too damaged, which was great, because the main thing I was worried about was the damage to it, because it's such a huge deluxe set. And it's not in pristine condition, but it's in really, really good condition. And just the way, I mean, the book itself is like a 300-page. I mean, it's just mental. So yeah, that's definitely like a pride of the collection thing, that when I feel like watching those films, it's going to be incredible. And I'm more than happy to kind of wait for that. Just having it, knowing I have it is kind of contentment enough for me, I think.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head now, things that I've recently picked up that I want to talk about or want to mention. I really am quite happy with that Old Boy set that I got, especially now that it seems to have vanished off the face of the earth. You can't get it for love nor money. Yeah,
I was interested in that, vaguely, but I have the Korean Plain Archive edition, which is really, really nice. It has that documentary on there and stuff, which again I've never watched. So I didn't feel like it was an urgent priority. Again, with all the money in the world, it'd be nice to get the Arrow set as well. I'm sure there's probably a few different special features, but it's a great film, and a lot of people have been buying it and enjoying it, so that's good.
The transfer, I have actually watched Old Boy. Surprise, I bought it and I opened it and watched it. It's a terrific transfer. The movies never look better, and it's one of these ones that I really enjoy, but I'm quite happy just to watch it every 5 years. I don't need to watch that.
Yeah.
Because it's
a rough one. Yeah. I think specifically for parents as well, it's probably quite a tricky one. It's a very, very dark film. I haven't seen it probably in about 10 years, I think. So it is high time I go back to it, I think.
Have you picked up anything else of notable intent?
Well, it kind of... It dips in and see. Here's an interesting one. It's not really a great film, and it's one of those ones where it's like, why did I buy it? HMV bargain bin, and it was Passengers, £2.49, and I watched it, and I didn't I didn't love it, and I felt a bit weird about it. But I do love sci-fi, and there were bits of it I really liked, and it has it has a really nice slipcover.
Oh my goodness, the real reason you bought it. Yeah,
it's like a nice shiny kind of
Wasn't a
texture.
fan of that
But I
one.
took it to I took it to the till, and the woman was like $2.49, and I was like, I guess so. But I mean, I'm sure that'll probably end up in Poundland like next week, but it was almost borderline Poundland price, and yeah, I'm intrigued to revisit it. It's I didn't hate it, but I certainly had problems with it. But that's one where you do get home and you think, wow, why? I don't know, but I do know I will watch it again.
You watched it, so you got your money's worth already. I
suppose in a sense.
I want to mention a couple of things again. Like Second Sight Films, I really love their special editions of movies they brought out, and they brought out 2 recently that I just absolutely adored. One was In Bruges, great edition.
I did see that in HMV, and I keep thinking I want to pull the trigger, but it's £23. I've never seen it, so it's a tricky one.
You'd love it. You will love it.
And and the horrible thing is I owned it for years and then sold it. So I've even had the disc in my possession.
One of the cool things, the cool extras that's with it is the screenplay.
I did see.
So nice. And then
cool.
Another one they released, an old classic. I know you love this one as well. Was Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah, that was an instant buy for me. That's one where I had to get it and was so surprised to see that they're releasing this film. Did they give it a new transfer? I think. Yeah. I mean, that's just one of those things where it's just, I never thought that film would get that kind of treatment, and yet here we are. And so I haven't looked at it yet. I think I'm saving it for next year's movie marathon, but that's a film I loved. I grew up with. This is a special film to me. Like, I watched it with my dad. There's not many films I can say I kind of watched with my dad when I was a kid. And he actually, I showed it to him recently, and he kind of quoted the film back to me. So it was kind of nice that he remembered it as well. So it's a real special film to me. I'm looking forward to checking that out. And,
I opened it
awesome
pretty quickly after getting it and watched it with my kids, and they were just captivated.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
It was one of those great kind of moments. Because I really like to show them movies like I watched when I was a kid, and you're like, with all the movies they watch now, are they going to enjoy them? But just off topic, and it's not a Blu-ray, it's a movie that's on Netflix. I showed my daughter The Never-Ending Story about 2 weeks ago, and then she watched it once or twice a day for the next week or so. She just loved it. Just seeing these movies just capture another generation. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I rewatched that in my last 24-hour movie marathon, and it's like a religious experience, Like I remember enjoying it when I was a kid, but it's such a the scope of imagination in that film is so awesome, and it's so 80s. I love it. Oh man, great film.
Great. So we jump in and have a look at some of the releases that's coming out in November.
Well, I did want to clarify, Passengers wasn't the only thing I bought recently. There's a few Criterion things and more kind of highbrow titles, nothing to go into too much. I did get The Favourite, because I wanted to get it with the slipcover, and it was on sale for $9.99. Well, it's a film I was going to get anyway, and then the next day I went into HMV because I was in town again, and they reduced it to $7.99. I was like,
You know what I would have done?
But again, it's like £2. Nah, it's not that big of a bother really. And then they had the Addams Family. They have that kind of like buy it with your purchase kind of thing, and I haven't seen that in a long time too. Much like Never-Ending Story, a film I loved as a kid, and I can't even remember a lot of it now, so I'm really excited to check that out again. And the 2 Criterions I got were F for Fake, which I haven't seen, and Certain Women, which is a great film.
Certain Women is terrific. Like I said to you, I'm really curious about F for Fake. If I had more money, that would have been one of the ones I would have picked up.
Yeah, I've heard very good things.
So let's have a look. Today is the 4th, and it's release day, so there's a couple of things out today I'll run through. There is the 4K and Blu-ray of Apollo 11. Did you check that out?
I did. You have to kind of stop me from going off on these tangents, but I did actually go and see that. We have a local cinema on the pier down by the beach. And for the actual 50th anniversary of the moon landing itself, they were screening Apollo 11. So I thought, and it was one of those things where I was working that day, had read about it on my phone, and decided to leave work, go home, get changed, and run down to the beach, get to the pier, go to the cinema. Packed out, everyone was watching it, and So yeah, to actually watch that film on the 50th anniversary to the day of the moon landing was really cool. And it's a very good film. Have you seen For All Mankind?
No, I have not.
It's in the massive cinema
yeah, it's one of the ones that's still sealed.
Yeah, but that to me, because that film For All Mankind kind of is a compilation of all the moon landing footage from all of the Apollo missions, and it's such a stunning film that only focusing on Apollo 11 was a little bit like it wasn't quite as impactful, even though it's incredible and it's a very good film. I definitely recommend it.
I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, it was a good experience for sure.
Also, we have got from 88 Films Terror Train, a slasher. It's part of their Slasher Classics collection. So, as you know, I've got that in pre-order, so it should be dropping through my door at any moment. That's a Jamie Lee Curtis film.
Now, normally, I would never really be that intrigued for a slasher film, but I am a big fan of train movies. Yes. Like, that's one of the things for me that I just, if you set a movie on a train, I want to see it. So, it's almost intriguing.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis on a train with a slasher killer after her. Now here's another 80s classic, part of the premium collection. Now I have a problem with this disc, we'll get into in a minute. The movie is Krull. It's been released as part of the HMV premium collection. Now they released it last year, and I bought it last year as soon as it came out, but there was a problem with the disc. They hadn't formatted the proper aspect ratio on the Blu-ray.
Oh god.
So the DVD was fine, the Blu-ray was like really cropped and atrocious. So where do I stand on this?
So they've just released it again to buy again. There's no replacement program. Is that...
Companies changed hands. It's a tough one.
I guess it is. How much do you like that film?
I love Krull. I think it's amazing.
It's tricky.
Another one I showed my kids and they loved it as well, so you know they have good taste. There's a bunch of 4Ks out, Marvel ones, but we'll kind of skip by them. Go to a 4K of It's a Wonderful Life.
I saw that on a website recently. I thought, I wonder how that looks. Not that I've even delved into 4K yet, but I'm intrigued to see how older films fare in that format.
See, 4K is a bit of a strange one for me. Like, I can't say that I overly notice the difference on my TV, but I don't think my TV is large enough to really show how.
Yeah, I think that might play into it.
Because I think I've got like a 45-inch TV or something, not particularly big these days. And the 4Ks that I've watched on it, they look good, but I wouldn't say that they're heads and shoulders above Blu-ray for me at the moment. I don't buy many 4K. Usually it has to be like a fantastic deal.
Yeah, it's strange because the jump from DVD to Blu-ray is so significant. Yes. And then you wonder if, but then, I think I've even mentioned that again before, where I was like almost like a HD denier back in like 2009, 2010. I was like, there's no difference. They're just trying to sell you, and it took a while for me to kind of catch on that, oh shit, there actually is a huge difference. Yeah. But you need to almost adjust yourself to it in a sense. So I've not seen anything in 4K, so I can't even comment. But
I was much like you, a denier. What I did to go over it is I was part of, is it Netflix? Was it still called Netflix? Where you got them in the post? Yeah,
it was still Netflix.
That was Netflix then, and I love film, one of those, and I ordered the DVD and the Blu-ray of Speed Racer. You have brought the story up before, because I've been listening to the old episodes. Yeah, you did mention that. So that's how I got over my HD bump.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a movie you might be interested in: Varda by Agnes.
Oh, yes, this is one of my most anticipated releases.
Out today. Have you picked it up, or are you just waiting? Or
I didn't even know it was out today. I might order it. I might save it for Christmas. It's something I really want, and the family's always like, "What do you want?" I'm like, I don't know. So it might be a nice thing to just say, this is something I really want. So it is her final film, one of my favorite filmmakers. Yep. She's just incredible. And the main reason I'm excited about the release is, getting to see her final film, but also they've included, she did a talk at the BFI last year. And I had found out about it like the day afterwards, and I could have gone. It was just heartbreaking. Yeah. So they've included this, they filmed it and they're including it on the Blu-ray, and I'm so excited to see it. So it's like a double whammy for me. Getting her final film. You know, she passed away this year, and then getting to see that talk in full is going to be awesome.
Yeah, a movie from earlier this year, Yesterday, on 4K and Blu-ray. I love this movie.
Really good. Yeah, I almost felt like they could have done more with the concept, but it was a really entertaining and satisfying film.
I mean, when you look at the premise, the movie you get really does deliver a little bit more than just that. You know, a wee bit of context to it, a wee bit of emotion to it, a good relationship with the characters. I thought it was pretty terrific. Let's see if there's anything else out this week. No, we'll jump on to November the 11th from Eureka, Masters of Cinema Collection, and this is one that I have a big bugbear to put with. This one is Fuller at Fox set. Now, I guess you probably know where I'm going with this one.
Is it three previous releases?
It's 5
included?
movies with 3 previously released titles.
Yeah, and I have those three
as well, and I want the other 2, but I'm not buying a set at that price.
It's like 45 quid, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, and it feels as if it's a kind of rip on the Indicator box set where they did the Sam Fuller at Columbia. But theirs was 7 movies for 40 quid.
Yeah, I remember when they released the Shohei Imamura box set, Massive Cinema, but that was like old films that had already been released, so there was no need for me to pick it up. And that was the thing where I almost thought, well, it's a different release, I should buy it to be complete, but I didn't end up getting it. And I think there was only one other film that was included, but it was a DVD, so I kind of... the HD snob in me was like, well, I don't need that.
What kind of idiot would buy that Imamura set again when they had all the individual releases?
Oh, you didn't.
It's sitting there, sealed.
Oh, man.
I don't know why I did it. I think I must have had extra money at the time or just was a complete idiot, but I...
What a perfect setup.
Yeah, go me. From Criterion, we have the Palm Beach Story. I don't know a thing about that one.
No, me either.
Let's see what else. We have the 4K of Casino, which I hear is supposed to be pretty good. At that, you get the Italian Job. I think it's 50th anniversary set. It's coming out. And that's about it for that month. Again, pretty light for that week. Sorry. Move on to the November the 18th. One that I've got pre-ordered. Der Golem.
Now, another one I can tie into a story of seeing a film in that Pier Cinema. Last weekend, they screened the 4K restoration of The Golem. And shout out to the bitch sitting behind me who I sat down in the middle of the cinema and she kind of scoffed, of all the seats, he sat down right there. Yeah, it's the middle of the cinema. It's the best way to see the screen. There's tiered seatings. What are you talking about? And then she got up and moved by one seat and was like, oh, much better. Like, Jesus Christ. Then she starts rustling her sweet wrappers during a silent film, and I just wanted to punch myself in the face. Anyway, the film is really good. Narratively, not so much. The story is a little bit thick and not quite cohesive, but the visuals of a lot of it are really quite striking. So that's definitely one I want to pick up and watch again. I'd worked all day, so I was a little bit sleepy when I watched it, so I want to kind of watch it with a clearer head, and the restoration looked great.
It's a quick one, isn't it? It's not a long...
Yeah, so right, I think 75 minutes, 80 minutes, something like that. It kind of blew by quite quickly.
I'm really interested in that one. I pre-ordered that, so I'm waiting on that coming in.
And good to see them releasing more silent films.
The African Queen is another Master of Cinema one.
Yeah, that's quite a big film, isn't it, really? Like the Bogart and...
Hepburn,
yeah. I haven't seen it.
I've not seen that one either, but I know it's kind of reputation. From 88 Films, they're in the middle of releasing another bunch of Jackie Chan movies. So they have The Protector coming out on the 18th, one I don't know much about. Second Sight Films have a limited edition set of Upgrade, which seems like a strange choice, but that's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. You know, it got a lot of attention, and there's some really cool stuff in it. Overall, not one I'm too keen to rush back to. But, I mean, the cover looked cool, but not enough to make me buy it.
Like I've been picking up a lot of the Second Sight stuff, but budgetary constraints. I just you can't buy everything, unfortunately.
No.
From Criterion, Moonrise Kingdom. I love this movie.
Dude, I haven't seen it since it came out, and I think I owned it at one point. and I think I saw like the regular edition. I can't remember. So it's the only blind spot in my Wes Anderson collection.
Okay.
And I've been trying to get that Criterion from America, like friends going to Barnes and Noble stores during the sale. It's never there, or it's like dented because it's like a digipack. I'm intrigued to see if the UK are going to release the digipack packaging from its original American release. But either way, yeah, I'll be getting that for Christmas. I think it's one I need to go back to because I have only seen it once, and I'm a big Wes Anderson fan.
From 88 Films, again, we've got the awesome Colour Crocodile 1 and 2 set.
Oh, I
have that pre-ordered. It's like 25 quid, but I got it off a website. It was I don't know if it was a 40 price or not, but they had it priced at £12. So I was I was buying it at 25 quid anyway.
Oh, you do have, I thought you were joking.
I am not joking. I love giant crocodile movies. I've seen.
All right, well there you go. Did you see Crawl?
Yeah, I love that.
Good film, isn't it? Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Edge of the seat, amazing kind of stuff. On Blu-ray, again, we have The Dead Don't Die, which I really enjoyed.
It was such a funny cinema experience, right? There's probably about 15 people in there, and no one was laughing at anything. It tanked. It absolutely went down like a lead balloon, and I'm just sat there near the front just giggling to myself the whole time. Like, the humor is so dry. And just no one seemed to be on board with it.
I loved it. It's just the pan face delivery of, well, do you know what I think it was? Zombies. You just oh man, I just
where have I heard this song before? It feels so familiar. Well, it's the theme song. There you go.
Yeah, and then it's
great. I can understand why some people don't gel with it, but it's a very specific brand of humor.
And Tilda Swinton's Scottish, what would you say, samurai wielding autopsy person, mortician or whatever. It's just such a bonkers character. I loved her. I thought she was great. But that's for specific people, I think. Okay, we'll jump into the last week of the month, and we have from Arrow the limited edition RoboCop.
Okay, so this is where you can probably jump in and actually like tell me what this is, because I haven't looked at any of the details of it.
It's basically just it.
So what's included? Is there anything special about it?
It's one of those hardbox cases. It's a poster. It is a book. It's a new transfer of the movie. A bunch of extras, and it comes in a steelbook version as well.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. It was a no-brainer for me. I love RoboCop.
Yeah, it's a great film. I have the trilogy set, I think, but I'm not sure if I jump on it straight away.
I do, but it's one of those ones that just kind of holds a memory for me of like back to a time where things were easier, where you would show your kids an 18 rated movie when they were, I don't know, 10 or 11 and be fine.
Absolutely.
I remember
I can relate.
Very, very faintly, like being unwell and like lying on the couch and just feeling kind of crappy and stuff. And like my dad came home from work and he's like, I got you this so we can sit and watch it tonight. RoboCop. My dad got me RoboCop to cheer up the 11-year-old me from the video shop. It worked. I watched that thing as many times as I could that night and the next morning before I had to go back. Great. Another one for the Masters of Cinema collection is A Fistful of Dynamite. Yeah,
I don't have too much knowledge of that one.
No, I just know it's Leone's last Western or last movie.
Okay, interesting.
And it's James Coburn's in it, Rob Steiger, I think. So I'm quite curious about that one as well. Indicator have the Hammer Volume 4 set out. And that was one that I wanted. I couldn't really afford the £45, but I got an Amazon code for like £5 off. And it had kind of dipped to like £36 for some reason.
Okay.
So I dropped the £5 voucher on that and picked it up for £31.
I was going to say, like, £45, I can't afford that. With £5 off, I can.
No. But with nearly 15 quid off, I can...
Yeah, that's a bit different.
I can go for that.
Yeah.
Then there's this small set from Criterion, Godzilla, the Showa era.
Yeah, I'm not too enthused by that. It's cool. I like that they've released it. It looks like a really cool set and everything, but I'm not too fussed,
Yeah, I was the same. I was on the Blu-ray forum the other day, and somebody mentioned that you could get it from America, blah blah blah, for about 115 quid.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my, what? My goodness! I'm right onto Amazon.com, and I'm looking it up, and I'm like, breathe. I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not interested in it. I don't need to.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
And I think it's around the same price as the Zatoichi set, which has 25 films versus, was it 15 or so? And yeah, I don't know. That's one of those. I would watch them if I bought it and everything, but I have no immediate impulse to buy it. And obviously the huge price tag is, hard to get around it.
Yeah, it's off-putting. And I think they've kind of said that this one is a limited set, which I think is driving a lot of people to pick it up rather than later.
I wonder if that's a strategy, or whether it's like maybe the Zatoichi set just hasn't sold very well and they just they're cutting their losses or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably, it could be a limited set and they'll release it in a smaller formatted set.
Yeah, possibly.
And if it was something that maybe half the price of that or less, I'd probably pick it up at some point. But that set seems like a bit too much for my liking. And that is it. That is all for November.
I would like to get one little last rant in about HMV, actually, because I was there about a month or two ago and I wanted to get this Criterion, the Coca trilogy, which is a series of films by
I know where you're going.
Abbas Kiarostami. Yeah, did I tell you about this? Or
no, but I know what you're going to mention.
What?
Spider clips.
Yeah. So this is like a really nice kind of cardboard digipack packaging, and it is a 60 quid release. And this is a case where I love this one film in the set so much, and I wanted this set so badly, and I wanted it in pristine condition that I was prepared to pay this price. I got like a nice bonus from work, and I thought I'm gonna buy this today. I'm gonna watch all these films and do a series of videos on them for my Asian cinema season. I get in there and there's a big spider clamp around it, and it's like dug into the edges, it's bent the cardboard up, and I'm just like, why would you do this? Like, I get it, it's an expensive thing, but at the same time, the only people who are going to be spending this much money on something like this are people who kind of care about the packaging, right? I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I said, do you have any other copies of this, in the back that aren't kind of like damaged? And she came back, she's like, nope, that's the only copy we were sent. And I'm just like, well, there you go then, just lost yourself a sale. I don't know why they don't do dummy packaging for. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of items in there that have these clamps on them, but and I've seen other sets that kind of it just digs into the packaging and damages it. I don't see why this has to happen, but it did save me 60 quid. So.
It did, but I think they're starting to learn. Like you said, they've got the boutique section. They understand that this is a market that they should be aiming for. Hopefully they'll find something better to lock the... I mean, I've seen places before they've got the plastic encasement.
Yeah.
Where you put something in. There is other alternatives out there that don't damage the packaging. That's all we're interested in. Screw the discs. If you want that nice packaging.
But especially at that price, you want everything in pristine condition,
Yeah. I mean, you'll get that dropping at some point. In price. Yeah,
possibly. I think it was even cheaper online maybe, but I didn't want to, risk it with the postage. So it's kind of like the pros and cons of having HMV in the UK, where you can go to having Criterion in the UK, you can go to HMV, you can pick it up and see that it's in good condition, but it's really expensive. Or you can get better prices in America, but you got no idea what condition it's going to be in when it turns up.
So there we go. Great. Done. An episode done. We made it. Look,
done. It's probably the longest one we've done, I think. I don't think
it is. Yeah. And we are promising to be back. We won't put a date on it, because that would just be silly. Of course, we're always looking for topics of things to talk about, so if you have any ideas at all, you can drop over to the Blu-ray Condition Facebook page, where we sometimes share deals, and like we said, we're enablers and we like to be enabled as well. So if you see any deals, feel free to just drop them in there and watch us twitch.
Yeah, if we're going to go down, we're going to drag some other people down with us.
Absolutely. So I appreciate you waiting the long haul for us to come back. As always, if you would like to pop over to iTunes, give us a little thumbs up, a 5-star review, we would really appreciate it. and we'll see you next month on the Blu-ray condition.